Synoptic-scale Snowstorm. Let's start with the one you probably know best. This is your standard run-of-the-mill winter storm, the kind that shows up on the weather forecast a few days ahead, gives you time to stock up on groceries, and then proceeds to dump snow on half the country. These storms are caused by massive low-pressure systems that slowly move across continents. Picture a giant spinning wheel of clouds and precipitation covering an area the size of Texas. The snowfall isn't super intense, but it's steady. It just keeps coming hour after hour. You wake up, look outside, and your car is buried. What makes these storms manageable is that they're predictable. Meteorologists can track them days in advance, so cities have time to prep. Frontal Snowstorm. Now imagine two massive walls of air, one warm and one cold, slamming into each other like bumper cars at an atmospheric scale. That's a frontal snowstorm. The boundary where these air masses meet is called a front, and when they collide, the warm air gets pushed upward. As it rises, it cools down, and all that moisture turns into snow. Frontal snowstorms are sneaky because they often start as rain. You're sitting on the couch on a rainy day, sipping your coffee, listening to the sound of rain. Then the temperature drops a few degrees, and you're watching snow pile up. The snow from these storms is usually heavy and wet because the temperature hovers right around freezing. This is the kind of snow that sticks to everything. Power lines sag under the weight. Tree branches snap. If you've experienced it, you know exactly what that feels like. Alberta Clipper. Here's a storm that doesn't mess around. The Alberta Clipper usually forms in Western Canada and then moves southeast. The snowfall might only be a few inches if you're unlucky, but the problem is, they don't need a lot of snow to ruin your day. What they bring is real trouble. A temperature drop of up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit in just a few hours, and with winds reaching 50 miles per hour. When you combine these two, the Alberta Clipper becomes unbearable. Exposed skin can freeze quickly, and if the Clipper happens to pass over the Great Lakes on its way south, it picks up moisture and can turn into a full-blown lake effect nightmare. If you're outside when one hits, you'll definitely remember it. Orographic Snowstorm. You're driving through the mountains, maybe heading to a ski resort, or just trying to get to the other side. You start climbing. The higher you go, the worse it gets. By the time you reach the mountain pass, visibility is zero, snow is coming down sideways, and you're seriously regretting this trip. That's an orographic snowstorm. It happens when moist air gets forced upward by mountains. These storms can be extremely localized. A town in the valley might get a dusting, while the mountain pass just a few miles away gets buried under 5 feet. This is why mountain roads are dangerous in winter. You never really know what you're driving into until you're already in it. And by the time you realize it, it may already be too late. Ground blizzard. Okay, this one is weird. You wake up, look outside, and see clear blue skies. Then you step outside and immediately regret it because you can't see anything. Despite the clear blue sky you saw from an upstairs window, the air outside your front door is filled with snow, whipping around at insane speeds. None of it is coming from the sky. You have just encountered a ground blizzard. This happens when high winds pick up snow that's already on the ground and throw it into the air. The result is a total whiteout, even though it's not actually snowing. Ground blizzards are most common in flat, open areas where there's nothing to block the wind. In a way, it's similar to a sandstorm in the desert. The terrifying part is these can develop out of nowhere. You could be driving on a perfectly clear day, and then suddenly you're in a blizzard, no warning, and no time to react. Snow squall. You're cruising down the highway. The weather seems fine. Then, out of nowhere, you drive into a wall of snow. Visibility drops to 0 in seconds. You slam on the brakes. So does everyone around you. And then you hear it. The crunch of metal on metal as cars pile up behind you. That's a snow squall, also known as the highway killer. They last maybe 30 to 60 minutes, but in that short time, they can cause absolute chaos. They are especially dangerous on highways because they hit so suddenly. 1 second, the road is clear. Next, you're in a blizzard. There's no time to slow down safely. Multi-vehicle pileups are common during snow squalls, and some of them involve dozens of cars. If you get a snow squall warning on your phone while driving, take it seriously. Lake effect snowstorm. If you've ever wondered why some places get absolutely destroyed by snow while neighboring towns barely get a dusting, lake effect snow is the answer. This is one of the most intense types of snowfall on Earth, and it's all thanks to geography. Here's how it works. Cold air sweeps across a large body of water, like one of the Great Lakes. The water is warmer than the air, so the air picks up moisture and heat as it moves over the lake. Then, when that air hits land, it dumps all that moisture as snow. I mean dumps. Lake effect snow can fall up to 5 inches in just an hour, sometimes more. It can last for days. And because it's so dependent on wind direction and geography, the snowfall is incredibly localized. One side of a city might get buried under more than 6 feet of snow, while the other side gets nothing. Nor'easter. If you live on the east coast of the US, you likely know this one. Nor'easters are massive storm systems that develop along the Atlantic coast, and they bring everything: heavy snow, high winds, coastal flooding, and waves that can destroy buildings. These storms are called nor'easters because the winds blow from the northeast off the ocean. Nor'easters can stall over an area for days, dumping over 3 feet of snow while also causing storm surges that flood coastal towns. Blizzard. In a blizzard, you can't see. Everything becomes white. The ground, the sky, the air, it all blends together. This is called a whiteout, and it's one of the most disorienting experiences you can have. You lose all sense of direction. People have died just a few feet from their front door because they couldn't find it. The wind is actually what makes blizzards so dangerous. The wind chill can drop the temperature by 20 or 30 degrees. Frostbite can set in within minutes. Hypothermia becomes a serious risk even if you're wearing winter gear. Your best bet is to find shelter immediately. A car, a building, even a snowbank, anything that blocks the freezing wind. Polar vortex. It's a large area of cold air that normally stays locked over the Arctic, but sometimes the jet stream at high altitudes weakens or shifts, and that cold air spills south into places that are absolutely not prepared for it. When this happens during a snowstorm, the results are catastrophic. Temperatures drop to levels that are almost incomprehensible. Wind chills can plunge to around -50 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're outside for more than a few minutes, you're in serious danger. When these storms hit, entire cities shut down. People are advised to stay indoors at all costs. The scary part is that these storms can hit areas that rarely see extreme cold. Places like Texas, which got hammered by a polar vortex event in 2021. The state's power grid wasn't built for that kind of cold, and millions of people lost power in the middle of winter for over a day. Thundersnow. This one is the rarest and most intense type of snowstorm. This is exactly what it sounds like, a snowstorm with thunder and lightning. When lightning strikes during a snowstorm, the thunder sounds different. It's muffled by the snow, so instead of a sharp crack, it's more of a deep rolling rumble. Thundersnow can dump snow at extreme rates, sometimes several inches in a single hour. Visibility drops to 0, and roads become impassable. If you ever see lightning during a snowstorm, get inside. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.